What is up? It's your boy Brad Flauta coming at you from Florida. So I figured I owe you guys a video today. Look at your boy. So guess what time it is? It's story time with Uncle Brad. Uncle Brad, story time. So this is a true story that happened to one of my buddies in Las Vegas. So this is one of the ways that a escort can scam you in a casino. So let me tell you a little true story here that happened to one of my buddies. So me and my friends, we were out in Las Vegas. This is our first time out there. We were 21 years old. We were staying at a large property out there. And there was myself, four other friends, and one of our friends was a virgin. So one of my other really good friends came up with this idea. He's like, you know what? Why don't we find an escort? We won't tell him. We'll pay for her, and we'll bring her into the room. Bada boom, bada bing, biscuit in the basket. He won't be any wiser. He's a virgin. He won't even know what to do anyway. And then boom, all said and done, everyone's happy, right? Right. So my buddy comes up with this idea. Okay, he's like, all right, we got to get a hold of an escort. None of those guys wanted to try to call any escorts. They were so scared and nervous. And I don't know, back in the day when you were in Las Vegas on the strip, they used to hand out these pamphlets of literally magazines with women in them. And so we had like these five different magazines, and we're sitting there looking through them, and they're like, who's going to call and do all this? And I'm like, listen, I'll do it. So I volunteered. So I'm like, hey, I'll call because I used to work in this dive motel before, and I had no problems talk when I was in college. I worked for this dive motel for a summer, right? So I had like no problems talking to people of certain ilk. So we're looking through this magazine. We start calling through the magazine, right? And every single one of the girls that we wanted to pick, they're like, "Oh, she doesn't work here anymore. Oh, what are you talking about? Blah blah blah." So right away we figure out this whole thing's like a racket job, right? So none of these girls work there. All these like hot chicks that are in these magazines, and none of them work for this agency. So finally my buddy gets on the phone. So by the way, we had two different rooms, and we were making all these phone calls from the room that I was staying in with my buddy, right? um, and then we had another room right next to ours, so we were doing all the phone calls from my room. So finally my buddy gets on the phone after he hears me do it, and he's finally comfortable, and he goes, all right, here's what we need. We need just a skinny blonde, young, around 22, 21 years old, 23, whatever, right around there, and we'll pay $200. But our buddy doesn't know about it, so she needs to pretend like she's a friend of ours, and she comes in, and we'll give her the $200. Blah 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 blah, and it's all said and done. Okay, great. So my buddy sets it all up. All right, so she's on her way to our hotel room. All right, one of my other buddies decides he's going to go to the bathroom. All right, and he drops a bomb in the bathroom. Okay, like absolutely terrible, smells so bad. All right, and my other buddy who set this whole thing up is freaking out. He's like, oh my god, it smells so bad in here, blah 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 blah. It was absolutely disgusting. So this, all of a sudden we hear a knock on the door, right? This girl shows up. So she's a skinny blonde, right? So the deal was a couple of us were gonna go out. They were gonna give her the money. She was gonna come in, and then we're gonna one by one leave. And in the end, it was just gonna be those two in there, and and then it was done. So my buddy goes out that set it up with one of my other buddies. So they're outside. They talk to her. Apparently they gave her the money. They set it all up. She was on board with it, right? So she comes in with them. Absolutely hilarious. So there's five dudes in this hotel room. It stinks so bad, but again, it was a nice hotel room. It was in one of the nice places in Las Vegas. So one by one, we start leaving, right? One by one. All right. And it gets down to just those two. And they're in the room. And we're like, hey, why don't you guys hang out for a little bit? We'll be right back. All right. So we all leave the room. But me and my buddy that set it up decided we were going to hang outside the room to make sure that nothing happened or whatever. Right. So we're sitting there listening on the door. Okay. And it seemed like everything was fine. Like we didn't hear anything weird going on. We thought, they did the business, got it done. So she leaves, all right, and we start talking to our buddy, and we ask him, we're like, what happened? What'd you guys do? And we were all playing dumb. And he's like, well, she told me that if I gave her $200, she would give me a with a condom on. So I decided to do that. And we were all just looking at each other like, what? So this escort in Las Vegas got $400 out of us, $200 out of my buddy and all of us because we pooled our money, 200 more dollars out of this poor guy or poor friend that didn't even know any of this was happening. They didn't even get the job done. He ends up having to wear a condom while she's and it was just one of the funniest stories that I've been involved in, and I have lots of stories. We might do more story time with Uncle Brad, just so you guys know in case this is a hit. But it was one of the funniest things that I've ever experienced, and it really happened. So you got to be careful when you're out there in Las Vegas. Even though certain things are legal, you got to still mind your back because they're always trying to get one over on you. But anyway, guys, I hope you like that story. So like, subscribe, comment down below. Your boy, Brad, Florida, over and out.